Socrates, the father of medicine, 400 years BC, no mention of diabetes in his writings. So diabetes is a fairly modern disease. Diabetes is a lifestyle disease. Overcoming diabetes, what you'll learn tonight, you need never have diabetes. And if you have diabetes, what I'm going to show you tonight is how you can conquer diabetes. I believe that the human body was designed to heal itself, and it will heal itself if you give it the right conditions. To conquer diabetes, what do? To conquer diabetes, go for the low glycemic index foods. It's not easy. It's easy. I meant to say it's not hard to get a glycemic index. You can Google that.
What if I told you that the key to stopping, controlling, or even fixing diabetes might be in your kitchen right now? Dr. Barbara O'Neill, a well-known naturopath with over 40 years of experience, found some surprising connections between food and diabetes. These are things that drug companies might not want you to know. In the next few minutes, we'll talk about how small changes in what you eat could help you control your blood sugar much better. We'll look at new research and natural ways to help people with diabetes. So make sure to listen closely. Before we talk about Dr. Barbara's tips, let's look at how big the diabetes problem is. The World Health Organization says over 422 million people around the world have diabetes. In the U.S. alone, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, says more than 37 million people have diabetes, and 1 in 5 don't even know it.
The pancreas's, one of its main roles is to release two hormones. One is insulin, that gets the blood sugar down. The other hormone is glucagon, and that gets the blood sugar level up.
Dr. O'Neill says that diabetes is mostly a problem with how our body handles sugar. But it's not just about sugar alone. The way we live today makes the problem worse. We eat a lot of processed foods with too many carbs, we don't exercise enough, and we are always stressed. All of this together creates the perfect setup for diabetes. Today, most people eat a lot of foods high in carbs, which makes the body release a lot of sugar into the blood. Dr. O'Neill explains that when this happens, our pancreas has to work hard to make more insulin. Over time, this can cause insulin to stop working as well, leading to insulin resistance, and eventually diabetes. But it's not just the obvious things like candy and soda that are causing the problem.
One grain that gets the blood sugar levels higher than refined sugar. Is that a surprise? And the grain that does that is what? Bread and cereal and pasta and cakes, etc., and pizza are all made out of predominantly one grain. What's that one grain? It's wheat.
This fact about wheat might surprise you. Many people who want to eat healthier choose whole wheat products, thinking it's a good choice. But Dr. O'Neill says this could actually make things worse.
Wheat. Whole wheat bread, whole wheat cereal, it sits at 72. How could that be? Well, because the whole wheat isn't refined, it's got more amylopectin A in it. And it's the amylopectin A that gets the blood sugar level up.
The glycemic index, GI, is a way to rank foods by how fast they make your blood sugar go up. Foods with a high GI make your blood sugar rise quickly. You might wonder, if diabetes is such a big problem now, how did we get here? And more importantly, how can we fix it? Dr. O'Neill has some surprising answers that drug companies don't want you to know. Dr. O'Neill's way of managing diabetes is not just about counting carbs. She believes that to really treat diabetes, we need to understand the main causes of the disease.
Before someone develops diabetes, they usually start with insulin resistance. You've heard of insulin resistance. What happens with insulin resistance? The person's, say, on a high carbohydrate diet, a lot of wheat, blood glucose levels are going high, this gets screamed at. You see, high glucose demands high insulin. So when blood glucose levels are high, the pancreas is getting screamed at, quick, insulin, more insulin. So it releases a lot of insulin, too much insulin actually.
This constant need for insulin eventually tires out the pancreas, causing it to make less insulin, which leads to diabetes. But here's the good news. If we deal with these main causes, we can not only manage diabetes, but maybe even reverse it. Now let's look at some of Dr. O'Neill's secrets for healing diabetes naturally.
To conquer diabetes, what do? To conquer diabetes, go for the low glycemic index foods. It's not easy. It's easy. I meant to say it's not hard to get a glycemic index. You can Google that. It's a matter of having berries for breakfast instead of banana. It's as simple as having sweet potato instead of potato. Having your whole grains, eliminating the wheat. Low GI foods. He was a scientist. He was 69. He came to our retreat. He said, when I was 42, I was told I had pre-diabetes and to eat legumes every day. He said, I eat legumes every day and I never got diabetes. Because the beans give that lovely, sure, steady delivery of fuel. How do we stop them causing bloating or wind? You soak them overnight. And then you rinse them very well. And then you bring them to the boil. Have you seen all the froth that comes on? You know what that is? Wind. You got to rinse it away. Healthy fats. We also looked earlier in the week at fats that heal, fats that kill. And the killer fats are your altered fats. There's your deep fried foods, there's your margarines, those fats that have been changed or altered, or your polyunsaturated fats that have been extracted using high heat. They're the dangerous fats. You can get ancient grains today. You can get grains that have not been hybridized. You can get some wheat grains from the original wheat. In fact, the original wheat is called Enkenhorn, or sometimes I call it just Enkhorn, E-I-N-K-O-K-H-O-R-N, Enkhorn. And you can also get the Emmer grain, E-M-M-E-R, and that's a wild hybrid from the original Enkhorn. So the sourdough bread is the best bread because it's a cultured bread. And the culturing process breaks down the protein or the gluten in the grain, making it pre-digested. So when you eat the sourdough bread, you're eating a bread that is a lot easier to digest. What's the role that exercise plays in diabetes? It plays a major role. And the type of exercise that is the most effective is the high-intensity interval training. The reason why that sort of exercise is necessary, it causes a massive influx of blood into every single cell in the body, and this is also your pancreatic cells. Your pancreatic cells revive because Leviticus 17:11 states that the life of the flesh is in the blood. You see, more blood is more life. More blood is more nutrients, more oxygen, more water, carrying away waste. It is the blood that is the healer down into our mouth. We're salty people. Dr. Lelangry, a French doctor who wrote a whole book on salt, he calls it our internal sea. Seawater is called an isotonic solution because it is the exact same mineral balance and proportion as is found in body fluids, as is found in the bones. We need to be having salt the way God made it, which is in the seawater with all of its minerals. The good news is you don't have to drink seawater. You can have the whole salts. So there's salt and there's salt. People have been scared away from the sun. But God put the sun in the sky and it's there for a reason. You possibly have seen some presentations by a few doctors that are saying that vitamin D deficiency is a contributing factor in people getting sick.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell to stay updated on more health tips that can change your life.